Welcome to the Grit Behind the Grind podcast, where we dive deep into raw, unfiltered journey of entrepreneurship, fitness, mental health, and building businesses from the ground up. I'm Eric Rowell, co-founder of Grit and Grind Coffee, real estate developer, fitness enthusiast, dad, and husband.
And I'm Destiny Rowell, co-founder of Grit and Grind Coffee, creative, brand strategist, and above all, mom and wife, bringing you real talk on what it takes to thrive as a business owner, especially when you're doing it alongside your partner. Here, we don't just focus on the wins. We dig deep into the struggles, the sacrifices, and the daily grind that it takes to make it all possible. So tune in, subscribe, and get ready to uncover the grit behind the grind.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Grit Behind the Grind podcast. So in this series, we are going to talk about 6 key pillars. Those 6 key pillars are going to be entrepreneurship, relationships, health and fitness, mental health, scaling and growing businesses, and living in your purpose. So Des, tell us a little bit about what can they expect?
So our main goal here is 2 things. That is to give insight and inspiration. Of course, inspiration is beautiful. We can see where entrepreneurs started, where they're going, how much they've grown, so we can realize that everything's tangible. But also, when we first began, I realized insight is so important. I want to know tangible, actionable things that I can go out and do to move the needle. And that is what we want to supply our listeners to here at the Grit Behind the Grind. So insight and inspiration.
Yeah. So why should they listen to us? I mean, a little bit about us. I mean, we'll dive into the weeds of our backstory and who we are, but just at a high level, tell them, what things we're doing and all that.
We are a husband and wife that have been doing not only business, but life together for the last 20 something years. We've been together since we've been in high school.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
Yeah. Say it out loud.
That's a long time.
I feel like I'm 16 still.
I know. It's just getting better. We're like fine wine. Speaking of 16-year-olds, we also are a mom and a dad. We have a 16-year-old son. So we are in the thick of it. We are in the parenthood. So please.
Yeah, we basically have multiple businesses and we have a coffee franchise. So we have a national coffee franchise that we've grown, and we have multiple different small businesses inside that silo. So we have a roasting business. We have university for other entrepreneurs that are looking to get into the coffee business.
Before coffee, it was real estate. We are really big into real estate development, not only residential, but commercial. We, and before that, before the last 5 years, before real estate and coffee, we both had regular real jobs. Well, my job was awesome. Eric had a boring job.
I had a safety net job and you had a entrepreneurial job.
I have been my own boss since I realized that I have an issue with authority. So
1000%.
Like most entrepreneurs. So I have been a brand photographer for the last 17, 18 years, which it was a beautiful resource when we went into all of our other endeavors. It was just an ace in my back pocket that I'm able to use. And same with you. You did adult education, and that is pretty much what has allowed us to scale and succeed in this coffee franchise realm, because we are heavily on education and e-learning and being able to train up other owners to open up their own Grit and Grind. So yeah, a little bit about us.
Yeah, so you have Frames by Destiny, which is a marketing and photography agency. We have Rowell Holdings, which is a real estate portfolio. And then we have Grit and Grind Coffee, which is a national franchise coffee brand.
Yeah, so a little bit about everything. We are also big into fitness, super fitness enthusiast, but we haven't always been that way. Yes. I used to not be a morning person or even a people person. And so, we'll dive into that a little bit too. But other than that, we just have a passion for solving problems in our community. So I got a question for you though. What's one of the biggest challenges that you're facing right now, whether it's business or personal or a little bit of both?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things that I like to focus on, and it's also one of my biggest challenges, is balancing everything, right? When we kind of talked about putting this podcast together, we said, hey, what are the things that we value the most? Not only us individually, but what has, moved the needle in our businesses and our personal life and all those aspects. And these 6 things are those buckets that we want to make sure we prioritize and focus on. So balancing all of them, because what I've learned is some days, I might have been focused on my fitness and that bucket is full, but the growing and scaling the business bucket is not so full. So like balancing everything is really, I want to think that we have a success in our life and our businesses because we do balance them all very well, but it's constantly auditing them. Like I have to go back and reprioritize and pivot on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah. And from a different perspective, it might look like being a mom and then also a business owner at the same time, and you get home and the kids are already there and dinner's not cooked, and it's balancing not just the responsibilities or the titles, but also that guilt. Like, am I not giving my family enough? Is my business, thriving? But on the other hand, is my business lacking because I'm over here trying to wear all the hats and bring the kids to football and be, cook dinner and do laundry and all those things. And what I've learned as a mom, it's not balancing like 50-50 even with the scale. It is some days, like you said, the business is going to need more attention, and I have to be okay with myself and have so much peace that I know that my kids are there. They're going to be taken care of. We might be eating cereal and ramen noodles tonight, but we're going to be okay. And then on the other side, I am this amazing chef that is doing these Pinterest mom, Halloween treats. And then my business, I might have had to clock out.
I need you to water that plant more. You know what I mean? Like when we get that gourmet, I need that gourmet meal, girl.
We ain't doing no. We got a house manager for that. Yeah. We'll talk about that on another episode. But it is a balance, but I don't want the listeners to think that it is an even balance. It's never 50-50, and it's not the teeter-totter just sitting there. It's always off balance, but it's learning to know that you need to pivot.
We are masters of imperfection, right? I mean, like we do not proclaim to be perfect at anything, but we are doers. So let's roll into the next question, which is, which of these pillars, fitness, mental health, relationships, scaling businesses, all the things, like which ones are most important to you on your journey?
Without a doubt, it's going to be fitness. And when I say fitness, don't think running fast, lifting heavy. It's really mental health for me. And I've learned that the hard way. I've learned that, not taking care of yourself, you cannot pour from an empty cup. It is my time in the morning before the world wakes up and I'm at demand, whether it's a mom, a wife, business owner. The world is silent and I get to just pay myself a little bit of what I feel like I'm owed. And that is just time by myself. It might be a hot girl walk. It might be a full-blown AMRAP where I'm sweating to death and dying. But either way, I make that time every morning for myself before I have to go fill others. And I've learned that is the bottom base and ground level for every single thing. Rather it is scaling our business or, heck, even purpose. I have to make sure that my fitness/mental health is at the forefront of my day and most important to be able to be there for everyone else.
Yeah, no, I agree. Fitness is definitely, the top priority. And, it's not, running fast and doing all these things. It's just really living up to the commitments that you made to yourself. So it's saying, hey, I'm gonna get up and go to the gym in the morning, or I'm gonna go for a walk in the morning, and you telling yourself that you're gonna do that, and then you actually living that out and you upholding that commitment, right? So whenever I think fitness, it's not lifting weights and doing all these things. It's really honoring the commitments that you've made to yourself being the number one priority.
It helps. It goes back to the question I asked you about what is your biggest challenge. You have less challenges whenever you make fitness a priority.
Yeah.
I do have one last question though for you. Tell me who inspires you in the way that they balance their success and their purpose.
Yeah. So whenever I think about that question, I don't want to sound conceited, but at the same time, I am proud of myself. Whenever I look into the mirror, I am so proud of the person and the version of myself that I've created. And not only that, like I've created a life to where my circle has gotten smaller. And I've done that intentionally. Like I have so many acquaintances and friends that we kind of, go out to dinner with and do things with. But at the end of the day, like I am looking at myself on a daily basis and trying to show up and be a better version of that person each and every day. So whenever I kind of, draw from like what I see someone doing or the strength to, inspire, it's the inspiration of the version of myself today versus who I was in the past, right? So I'm able to draw from this because I remember very vividly looking into the mirror and thinking, I do not like this person. Like, I don't like myself. I don't like the decisions that I'm making. I don't like who I've became. And moving past that to now being very proud of who I am today, I look at me as my inspiration.
Yeah. And to hit on that a little bit, like balancing your success and your purpose, I am 1000% confident that if you just live in your purpose, success is just a byproduct. You don't notice it. You're amazingly humble. You lift your head up and all you're worried about, and I see this from an outer person looking in, is you're just trying to figure out how many more people you can stack on your back and climb up this hill with. And that is success. But we don't ever measure success. We just measure, are we in our purpose? Is this going to, keep us aligned with our purpose and knowing your why? And I think that if you are fully known and you know what your purpose is, success is just, like I said, a byproduct.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about a lot, and we're excited to dive into this series and just give insight and inspiration to others.
Oh, it's going to be good. We're going to have, other couples on. We're going to have health experts. We're going to have some fellow gym enthusiasts in here with us, people who are going on and creating businesses and leaving legacies. Like, it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait. Some of the conversations are just going to be you and I having just, comfortable, casual conversations. Some are going to be interview style. And then we're going to do a few solo episodes too. I can't wait for those. I could talk all bad about
for sure. So definitely excited about what's to come. So everyone stay tuned and we will keep you updated.
Thanks for tuning in to The Grit Behind the Grind. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave us a review. Follow us on social media for more behind the scenes content and updates. Keep grinding, and we'll see you next time.